In the final moments of her life, the woman ran toward her husband, but unexpectedly, she caught him embracing his mistress. What made it worse was that the husband promised the mistress he'd marry her in the next life. Hearing those words, the woman completely broke down. Shortly after, the plane crashed, but surprisingly, the woman was transported back to 1 year earlier. She immediately signed up for the pilot entrance exam, because before the plane crash, the man looked down on her for not knowing how to do anything. But he had forgotten that the best pilot back in the day was a woman. It was for love that she had given up the captain's position to him. Given a second chance, she decided to live for herself. One day, as the woman stepped out to throw away the trash, she happened to catch her husband meeting up with his mistress. But instead of getting angry, she warmly invited the mistress to stay for dinner. Later, while the woman was away, the mistress sneaked into the husband's room. They agreed to meet at a hotel the next day, but they had no idea the woman had already installed hidden cameras, and now held all the evidence of their affair. The next morning, the school called the husband to report that the child hadn't shown up. He rushed to the room, shouting for the woman. At that moment, the mistress came in pretending concern, telling him the woman wasn't home. The husband grew even angrier. When the woman returned from her morning run, he immediately started yelling at her for not handling even the smallest things. But the woman didn't care. Her calm attitude irritated him, and he ordered her to make breakfast. But she refused and suggested the mistress could take the child out to eat unhealthy food instead. The husband was furious and accused her of being unfit to be a mother. But the woman called him out for secretly feeding the kid snacks with the mistress before. The moment she said that, both the husband and the mistress froze. They thought the woman had discovered their secret, but the woman had already lost all faith in her husband. Seeing that he was going to be late for work, the man decided to talk to her properly that evening. Just then, the woman heard the boy say he was hungry. She reluctantly handed him a sandwich. The boy immediately slapped it onto the ground. He said even the dog wouldn't eat what mom made. At that moment, the woman completely gave up on the family. On the plane, the mistress asked the man if they were still meeting at the hotel after work, but thinking about his wife's strange behavior that morning, he refused and said he'd go home to be with her. But he didn't know that the woman had already placed her wedding ring and evidence of his affair on the table. Then she turned and walked away, heading to the flight training center. 6 years later, she had become a top-tier pilot, and successfully saved the people from the air disaster that year.